We are rounding off May, coming into June, and now it is time for a basketball market update. Stay tuned. First, before we get into any specific cards, we're going to talk about a little bit of a market update. So it turns out that a lot of the cards that you see now are starting to come down a bit from those February and March highs. The reasons partially being, one, because the market was pumped up very high in those times and the prices were definitely a bit outrageous and the demand wasn't there for those specific prices. Two, the fact that certain stores such as Target are not currently selling cards anymore. And finally, three, PSA has been shut down, but don't worry, they're opening July 1st and ready for all your submissions. Now, we went over the market conditions and then reasons why the market is where it is. So now let's look at some specific cards in detail. But before we do that, I want to give a special shout out to Market Movers and the Sports Card Investor team. See, this is the platform that we use to always show you guys how cards are moving. It's so awesome to have that as data in the background while we explain certain stuff to you guys. Definitely helps our credibility. And if you're interested in it, we have a little coupon code for you. So once you go ahead and you go down to Sports Card Investor and Market Movers, you enter Breakout and you can get a discount off the final price. Now without further ado, let's get into it. The first card we're going to look at is the Marant Luminance card. This card shows an awesome picture from going for a dunk on top of Kevin Love. If you would have made this dunk, it would have been one of the most insane dunks of all time. And it would have definitely made like SportsCenter like top play of the week. Shoot, top play of the year, honestly. But anywho, as I digress, we're going to go over this card. We're going to go over the raw version of this card. And as you can see, I know a lot of things with this card ended up peaking in April. But as of last week, this card has been resurging again. And the reason why is because Marant has been playing great in the playoffs. He dropped 30 points to get into the playoffs and to go over the Warriors in the play-in game. So his cards are definitely on the move. People have been watching him a lot. He's a very electric player, and his cards have been moving up. So definitely take a look out, especially for this one, because the picture is so awesome. And although Luminance might not be the best brand in the world, I think this is such a cool card that could be a flagship card in the future. So stay tuned. The next player on our list is Kristaps Porzingis. We're going to go with his Prism base, which the older Prism bases of certain players have been popping a little bit lately. As we can see from this chart, starting from around May and around the middle of May to around now, they've definitely spiked in value a little bit, which is pretty interesting, and we're going to check out why. So Kristaps Porzingis, he actually got hurt in his 2018-2019 season, and he didn't play because of an ACL injury. And he's actually coming back, and he's now playing for Dallas, and he first started as a Knick, by the way, but playing for Dallas. He has around 20 points a game, and he's becoming a very solidified player. He also has a good amount of rebounds per game as well. Really solid player, and I'm wondering to see what will happen to his rookie cards over time. The next player on our list is Bosh. For those of you who don't know, Bosh just made it into the Hall of Fame. What we're going to be looking today is we're going to be going to his Topps Chrome base rookie card. And as we can see here from our little graph, in May, the card went up from early May to around mid-May, which is pretty cool. And I'm glad a guy like this is getting some recognition. Also, I'm a huge Miami Heat fan, so I'm super happy to see Bosh and the hobby starting to respect his cards a little bit more. Let's go over to the stats. We see Bosh scored almost 20 points a game during his career and about 8 rebounds. He was a super solid player for the Miami Heat and led them to 2 NBA championships. Unfortunately, his career was cut short because of some blood clots. I remember that season when he was going to go and going to come back to the Heat, and then all of a sudden he had to go ahead and basically stop playing basketball because of the blood clots, and they actually did not let him come back, because if he did come back and he ended up getting a cut on his arm, he could bleed out and something very dangerous could happen to him. So that was the story of Bosh, and his cards are getting some respect, so I wanted to go ahead and show you guys. The next card on our list is the Michael Jordan 86 Fleer rookie card, and we're going to look at a PSA 6. I just went ahead and chose this number, and what I want you to focus on here is that towards the end of May, we're starting to see some movement in this Jordan card. And not only that, but we're seeing movement in the other rookies from the 86 set. The two other examples are Charles Barkley and Hakeem Olajuwon. I wanted to go ahead and incorporate these all into basically one player because they're starting to move a bit, and it's something that we really need to know in the hobby. 86 flitters starting to make a little bit of move up, and I think the reason for this is because in earlier February, March, April, it was pumped up very high and it came back down. Now finally it's meeting some resistance to the downside and starting to move up again. So it's definitely something to look out for. The 86 flitter cards have been moving up a little bit. Our final card that we're going to be looking for in this episode is the Tracy McGrady Topps Base rookie card. Now what I want you to focus on is, although the card has came down over the period that we're looking at, from mid to late May, we're starting to see a little bit of movement with this card. This is another one of those that I think he's one of the top, if not the most underrated card in the ones that we went over. And the reason why is because this guy was an absolute all-star. We're going to go over the stats right now and show you guys that he is a Hall of Famer, 7-time All-Star, 7-time All-NBA. He won the scoring champ title 2 times. He had 19 points a game in his career. And the reason why that number actually isn't higher is because towards the end of his career, he ended up just kind of being a role player, not doing as well as what he normally did. But that's okay because he had an awesome career, and this guy at one point was just absolutely unstoppable when he was on the Magic and also going along to the Houston Rockets as well. If you guys remember, this man once scored about 13 points in like 30 seconds, which is pretty crazy. It's just something I want you guys to view right here because it's just absolutely insane. It shows how good Tracy McGrady really is. To go ahead and summarize everything we talked about in this video, to start it off, we talked about a couple factors that have been pulling down the market and why we've seen this little bit of a correction, because it's important to know, especially when buying and dealing with cards, that it came down a little bit and there's certain factors that contribute as to why that is. The next thing we talked about is just some cards that, even with this correction happening, have still done very well and have been popping up and have been gaining some more value in the market. So I'm glad you guys were able to check out this video. Thank you for watching to the end. I really appreciate it. Also, if you want to check out the Discord, it's absolutely popping right now. We got loads of members. We're on the road to 1K there, and I think we're really going to be there soon. So go ahead. Link is down below. Click on it for me and check it out. I'm in there. Ryan's in there. We always talk about stuff in there. We have really good resources in there as well. So if you want access to the resource, it's 100% free, and I highly recommend. So go ahead and check that out. Alrighty guys, that's all we got for today. Breakout Sports, out.